Sadashivasamārambhāṁ
Shankaracharya-madhyamāṁ
Asmadacharya-paryantām
Vande
Vande
Guru
Guru
Paramparam.
Paramparam.
Om Sahanavavatu
Sahana
Bhunathu
Veeryam Karavavahai
Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishamare. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hey, everybody sit down. Why everybody sitting on one sofa? Sit here. Come and sit here.
Okay, so we will continue with the 19th verse. So we will chant. You please, I will lead. Please chant with me. Yogarato va bhogarato va
Yogarato va
Sangarato va sangavihinaha
Sangarato va
Sangavihinaha
Yasya brahmani ramate chittam
Yasya brahmani ramate chittam
Nandati nandati nandatyeva
Nandati nandati nandatyeva.
I'll just meet all of you. All right. So yoga ratova. So rataha is from rati, enjoying. So yoga ratova, the person who is indulging, who is practicing yoga, or bhoga ratova. Bhoga here means physical pleasures, sense pleasures. So he could be practicing yoga, spiritual discipline, or he could be indulging in sense pleasures. So yoga ratova, bhoga ratova, or sangha ratova. Or he could be in the company of friends and relatives, enjoying company of people. So sangha ratova. Or he could be alone in a forest or in his own house, sangha vihina, without any company. So whatever type of person it is, what is the crux over here? Yasya, that person, brahmani ramate chittam, the one whose mind is always occupied with Brahman, ramate chittam, who plays with Brahma, plays in Brahman, nandati 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 eva. So he enjoys, and indeed enjoys. He alone is happy. So nandati 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 eva. He alone is happy. Who? Yasya brahmani ramate chittam. The one whose mind abides in Brahman all the time. He alone is happy. So he's happy when he does something, and he's happy even when he's not doing anything. That is why he says yoga ratova. He may be indulging in yoga, bhoga ratova. He may be indulging in all sort of sense pleasures. Sangha ratova. He may be surrounded by people. Sangha vihinaha. He may be without the company of people. So he's happy whether he's alone or whether he's in everybody's company. So he's the person who has understood that everybody is the same, that he is Brahman and so is everybody else. So there is no question of company at all. At the same time, from the Vyavaharika angle, he may be in company of lots of people also. He knows that he alone is. And so Chandogya Upanishad says, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman alone. So this is something which has to be understood. There is no question of my seeing Brahman or experiencing Brahman. A lot of people talk about first knowing about Brahman and then experiencing Brahman in meditation. So Vedanta says this is wrong. There is no question of seeing Brahman. You only have to know that whatever you see is Brahman. That's the difference. I don't see Brahman. Whatever I see is Brahman. I am Brahman myself. So whether I see something good, it is Brahman. Whether I see something bad, it is Brahman. Something is being done correctly, that is Brahman. Something is being done wrongly, that is Brahman. Whatever is ugly I see, that is Brahman. What is beautiful I see, that is also Brahman. So even The devil, if you want to pick up from the Western philosophy, even devil is nothing but Brahman. Because if everything and everyone is Brahman, then Brahman cannot be opposed to anything, right? The moment you say everyone and everything is Brahman, then there is nothing which is not Brahman. So Brahman cannot be opposed to anything. Everything is Brahman alone. And therefore even the devil is Brahman. Even Naraka is Brahman, Sarvaka is Brahman, everything is Brahman. If everything is Brahman, but then we do give the names, the labels, good, bad, pleasant, unpleasant. So this is from the point of view of the upadhi, the point of view of the matter, the body-mind complex. So an example we can give is electricity is only one. But when it runs through bulbs of different colors, you see electricity being manifested as red, as green, as yellow, as violet. It doesn't mean electricity is one. It is many. It doesn't mean that electricity are many. There is only one electricity, but we see the manifestation in different colors because of the different upadhis, the different colored bulbs of the upadhi. And therefore that one single electricity manifests in multifold colors. It doesn't mean there are multiple electricities. There is only one. Manifestation is different because the medium of manifestation is different. But what manifests is that same electricity. So this is how we understand Brahman also. The life which is manifested, that life principle is Brahman alone. But it manifests as good person, bad person, ugly person, nice person, rich person, poor person because of the upadhi. And knowing all this, what is it that I have to learn? I have simply to understand that whatever I see is Brahman alone. And I don't have to do anything. Because people say that you have to abide in Brahman. You are Brahman. Where is the question of not abiding in Brahman? You are Brahman alone. And that Brahman, the Upanishad says, is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So Satyam is existence, not truth. It's called existence, the existence principle. Jnanam is the consciousness principle. Anantam is the limitlessness, the infinite principle. And because Brahman is Anantaha, limitless, therefore that Brahman, the one who knows that is Brahman, is always happy. Therefore, Nandati, Nandati, Nandati eva. Nandati means he rejoices. And so 3 times he talks about Nandati, Nandati, Nandati eva. 3 times he says. Why? Because there are 3 levels of happiness. So this, in Shastra we say there's a Priya, there is Moda, and there is Pramoda. 3 levels of Ananda are there. Priya Ananda, Moda Ananda, Pramoda Ananda. What is Priya Ananda? It is, supposing you like something. Let us say it is strawberry ice cream. So Priya Ananda is thinking about the strawberry ice cream. Thinking about something that gives you pleasure. That is Priya. Then Modaha is one step better. Getting the strawberry ice cream, going and purchasing it, getting what you like, or somebody gives it to you. That is Moda. Moda is the Ananda which comes out of getting what you like. So the first Ananda is slightly lower because you are only thinking about it. The second stage, Moda, is not having thought about it. You have got that particular object. In this case, the strawberry ice cream. And that higher level of Ananda is Moda. And when you actually begin to eat the ice cream, then you are enjoying it. So that is one higher level. So there's Priya, the lower level, Moda, the intermediate level, and Pramoda, the higher level. So first you think about it, you desire it, then you get it, and then you actually taste or enjoy it. So Priya, Moda, Pramoda, 3 levels of Ananda. And Shankara is saying here that all these 3 levels, they are at Anatma level only. They are Anatma Sukham. Even though Priya, Pramoda is the highest of these 3 levels, it is still very much centered around Anatma only. This is Anatma Sukham. And wherever there is Anatma, we must remember that the mind which we have, it is always in motion with desires, with passions, with raga, with dvesha. And these are all thoughts which come and go. And therefore they are temporary. And therefore, even the thought about the ice cream, it comes and it goes. Even when you get the ice cream, that ice cream comes and goes. Even when you're enjoying the ice cream, that also comes and goes. So that it's never permanent. So Priya, Moda, Pramoda, anything centered on Anatma is always impermanent, it's always temporary. It can never give you permanent peace. That permanent peace only comes from Atma. So Atma Sukham, it is permanent Ananda. And you have various scriptural statements to tell us that yes, this is true. So Gita, if you remember, the second chapter is Ashantasya Kutaskham. Where is the question of Ananda for a person whose mind is not calm? And therefore, that is one of the purport. Then there is Brahmavit Brahmeva Bhavati, Mundaka Upanishad. The one who knows that he is Brahman, who has understood that he is Brahman, he is no different from Brahman. And at the Brahman level, there is Ananta Ananda, there is permanent Ananda. There is no question of that Ananda ever changing. But at the Anatma level, however great the Ananda is, it is always changing. So that is one of the verses. Now we look at verse number 20. Please unmute yourself. We will chant. Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadhita
भगवद्गीता किञ्चिदधीता
Ganga Jalalava Pita
गङ्गाजलवकणिका
Sakridapi Yena Murari Samarcha
सप्तप्तपेन मुरारि समर्चा
Kriyate Tasya Yamena Charcha. Okay. So, Bhagavad Gita Kinchit Adhita. So, Adhita is the study of, and Bhagavad Gita Kinchit Adhita. Even the one who has studied the Bhagavad Gita only little. That is one of the sadhana said. The study of the scriptures, even little bit of it. And then Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita. So, Ganga Jalalava is Ganga Jal. Kanika Pita, even if one drop of Ganga Jal is consumed, what happens to that person? We're talking about a person who has gone to the Ganga and had a drop of Ganga Jal. That's the one person. Or you can talk about another person who has not been able to travel, but he has gone to a Vedanta class and Bhagavad Gita, Kinchit Adhita, has studied it only little. He has not completed his studies. What happens to him? Yena Murari Samarcha. That both these people, they have done worship of Murari. They have done a yajna for Krishna. Krishna has been worshipped. Even if they have done this Sakridapi, even if they have done it only once. So Sakridapi, Ganga Jalalava Karnika Pita, you have to supply. Even if you have gone to Ganga Ma only once and had that one drop of Ganga Jal only once, or you can say Sakridapi Bhagavad Gita Adhita. You have gone to a Vedanta class only once and you have studied a little bit. What happens to him? Tasya Yamena Charcha. There is no discussion with Lord Yama. So a beautiful statement. The one who has done this, for him, Lord Yama will not have any fear at all. So look at Murari Samarja is worship of Lord Krishna. And you can look at the words Murari. So Mura was a demon whom Krishna destroyed. And Ari means enemy. So Murari is enemy of Mura, the one who destroyed Mura. And that's why Lord Krishna is called Murari. So in fact, actually, I think it is Lord Vishnu who destroyed the demon Mura. Okay, so and Vishnu is called Murari, but in this case, because Krishna is a Vishnu avatara, he is also called Murari. So he is saying that in order to become free from death, all one needs to have is to have this idea that there is something beyond this physical body of mine. And the Bhagavad Gita shows us what that Brahman is not different from me. And so he takes two instances. One is somebody has gone to Vedanta class, studied only once, maybe once or twice, little only has studied. Or he has gone to the Ganga and he has taken a sip of water from the Ganga. Okay. So you might say, what is so great about the Ganga? It's only a water body, right? A lot of youngsters, they laugh at people who go on Tirth Yatras. And they say that all andavishwas, all blind, beliefs. What's so great about Ganga? It's only a water body and it's polluted at that. So this shows that this kind of attitude shows a complete non-understanding of what is meant by a symbolism. In this case, it is a sacred symbolism. Take, for example, the national flag. Okay, Indian flag you take. If you disrespect that flag, it is legally punishable. Right? Why is it punishable of offense for disrespecting it? After all, you can apply the same argument. Like if you say Ganga is only a water body, you can also say this flag is only a piece of cloth and it's got some colors and some designs. Then why do you stand up the moment the flag comes up? Why do people get tears in their eyes when the flag is flying? So there is an invocation of the entire nation and all our culture on that flag. That flag is sacred to all of us because it's not a piece of cloth. The piece of cloth is the pratika, the symbol. And on that symbol, we are invoking the entire nation and all its thousands and thousands years of tradition. The entire culture is being invoked on that flag. And it represents our entire history. And therefore it becomes sacred for us as a pratika. So that is why it is important to respect the national flag. It's a symbolism, it's a sacred symbolism. That flag symbolizes the entire nation. Similarly, the Ganga Jalalava, the Ganga symbolizes our entire spiritual tradition. And when you say Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita, even one small drop of Ganga Jal, if you have actually had, if you actually drunk, what is it really implying? You are saying that two things you have said. One is one drop of Ganga Jal you had. Another is Kinchidadita Bhagavad Gita. Only a small 1 or 2 classes you attended. And you got only a small little idea what Gita is about. So what is being said is that normally people have no idea that there is something beyond the body. And therefore, with either of these two ways, if you have been fortunate enough to get even a small glimpse, in small insight into the infinite Brahman and the possibility of living with the idea that I am Brahman, that is what is being mentioned. So these two verses have to be taken as even the smallest idea of what is the infinite Brahman. Once you have got, then your interest will be kindled. So this person who has gone only once or twice to Vedanta class, or who has gone to Ganga only and drunk only one drop of Ganga Jal, remember he is still in the ocean of samsara. And the waves are throwing him here and throwing him there. But what has happened? He has seen a glimpse of the lighthouse that is Brahman. And the Bhagavad Gita has shown him, Bhagavad Gita is the lighthouse, which has shown him the shore which is Brahman. So a glimpse of the lighthouse through Bhagavad Gita, the lighthouse itself is being taken as Bhagavad Gita. And therefore he knows that because the lighthouse is there and I have seen that light, he knows the shore is also there. And it is possible with the right amount of effort to reach that shore. And what is that shore? That is Brahman. So this is the importance of these two words. Not that he is a jnani, but he has got an idea. Yes, there is something beyond what I thought I am. And therefore that possibility that yes, I can reach there with the necessary amount of effort, that is what is being talked about. And even for such a person, so we are not even talking about the jnani, even for the person who has put his foot on the first step of Vedanta, tasya yamena charcha kriyate. There is no discussion with Lord Yama at all. And this can be interpreted as Lord Yama does not even dare to question such a sadhaka because he is already on the path. What is that path? that path leads him beyond mortality. Not the body, mind you. The body can never be made immortal. But it is Brahman. And Brahman need not be made immortal because Brahman is always immortal. This is what is being mentioned here. Therefore, he says, the one who has performed the worship of Lord Krishna even once, or he has studied the Bhagavad Gita a little bit, or he has gone to the Ganga and had one drop of Ganga Jal, for him, he has got the glimpse that there is something possible. There's something bigger possible. There's Brahman, that idea he has understood, that there is something called Brahman, which is immortal. He may not know that, yes, I am Brahman and therefore I am immortal. But that is the natural flow of knowledge. And sooner or later, he will come to the conclusion that, yes, I am that Brahman and therefore I can never die. I am always immortal. So the sacred water of the Ganga also grants a liberation, right? And as you know, Ganga was released on the earth from the head of Lord Shiva and therefore represents the flow of knowledge. And this Lord is the first teacher from whom Jnanam has come down to us. And that is why we chant Sadashiva Samarambhan Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. And therefore, you can take this as the three aspects of spiritual pursuit. We see them very often. Jnanam, Bhakti and Karma. So these three examples here are this particular, referring to these three areas. The study of Bhagavad Gita is Jnanam, the pursuit of knowledge performed by intellect. Bhakti, sipping of the Ganga, one drop of the Ganga, it represents Bhakti. It's also a requirement in one's spiritual pursuit. And worship of the Lord Krishna, that represents karma. There are three aspects, all of which are equally important. Karma, Bhakti, and Jnana. And what is the method of worshipping the Lord? So many of us have not seen the Bhagavad Gita, the last chapter, but last chapter says, Swakarmana tamabharchya siddhim vindati manavaha. So you have to, with your own work, whatever is your own karma, with that karma, you have to worship the Lord. You need not go to a temple for it. Just offer every action of yours to the Lord. Let all your actions become the Archana. What is Archana? When Archana is a particular form of worship where you offer a flower to the Lord each time you utter the name of the Lord. So you have lots of flowers in front of you and you say Om Namah Shivaya, you put one leaf. Om Namah Shivaya, put another leaf. So that is the Archana, the worship. And so he's saying here that let every action in my life become an Archana. So every action that I take, I utter the name of the Lord. Let every action in my life be a flower. And this is what we saw earlier in Bhagavad Gita as Easwaran Arpana Bhavana, the attitude of offering all my actions to the Lord. And so incidentally, this particular verse is supposed to be the contribution of Anandagiri. Anandagiri is one of Shankaracharya's foremost Shishyas, very famous, writes a lot of explanatory notes, commentaries on Shankaracharya's Bhashyam called Tikas. So he's a Tikakara, very famous one. Okay, now the next verse. So please unmute yourself again. We can chant verse number 21. Punarapi jananam punarapi maranam.
Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam.
Punarapi janani jathare shayanam.
Punarapi janani jathare shayanam.
Iha samsare bahudustare.
Iha samsare
Bahudustare.
Kripaya pare pahi murare.
Kripaya pahi murare.
Okay. So this is a very famous verse and it refers to the samsara, the being born again and dying again and being born again. So he says punarapi jananam. Punar means again. So punarapi means again. What happens? Jananam. One is born again. and punarapi maranam, and one dies again. So punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam is a cycle of birth and death, being born again, being dying again, being born again, being dying again. And therefore he says, in all this there is a problem, that you are being born and you are dying and you're dying and you're being born again. But when you are being born again, what happens? Punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Again, janani is the mother, jathare shayanam is the lying in the womb of the mother. So punarapi janani jathare shayanam, it's the intermediate stage between dying and being born. So being born into the world, before that you are a fetus in the womb of the mother. That is what he is referring to. Where you die over here, and then you are again in the fetus. As a fetus, you are in the womb of your mother, and then again you are born. Again you grow old. Again you die. And iha samsare bahudustare. The samsara can be, this ocean of samsara can be crossed only with very great difficulty. So he says, Kripaya pare pahi murare. Hey Murari, protect me. Kripaya apare. Apare kripaya. With an infinite compassion, please protect me. So here he's talking about the law of karma. And how does the law of karma work? As long as you think you are a finite person, which means there is apurnatvam. That is the idea that I am a finite person. Purnatvam is not infinite. Purnatvam means you are infinite. And by nature, all of us are Brahman, Atma, we are infinite. But because of ajnanam, because of the lack of knowledge, I think I'm a finite person. And that mistake which I make of taking myself as apurnaha, what does it lead to? It kindles in me a desire to be purnaha, to be free of the problems of apurnatam. Being a limited person, I have lots of problems. And therefore, I have a desire to be free of those problems. And somewhere I know that to be free of those problems, I have to be purnam. I have to be full. Unfortunately, I don't understand what it means to be purnam. I take it forward. I take it as what? I acquire something more. I will become complete. I will become purna. So the apurna status of mind, that idea that I'm a finite person, it leads in me a desire to become infinite, which makes me do karma for acquiring things. Because in my ignorance, I think that by acquiring more things, I will be happier. I will become purna. And therefore, I do karma. When I do karma, what happens? That karma leads to karma phala, to consequences. Karma fruits are there. The moment karma phala is generated, then there is Sanchita karma, then there is Prarabdha karma, and there is Agami karma. So my current karma is Agami karma. Part of it may be exhausted in this life as Prarabdha. What is not exhausted goes back into my box of karma called Sanchita karma. And therefore, as long as there is a balance in the Sanchita karma account, I have to be reborn to experience the fruits of that karma. Karma phalam has to be experienced, has to be exhausted. Because of this, I am born again and again and again. And in every birth, I have the same problem. I think I'm finite. I do karma to make myself infinite. Every time I do karma, I am adding karma phalam. And therefore, the birth is certain. And when birth is certain, death is certain. The cycle goes on and on and on. By acquiring things, I'm never going to break that cycle. And desires are always there. They're never fulfilled. Therefore, the journey is not concluded. So I might renounce this body after the prarabdha karma is over, but I have to acquire a new one because I have lots of sanchita karma to be exhausted. There are repeated births and repeated deaths. And therefore he says, Punarapi janani yachare shayanam. What a pity it is. I have to lie again in the womb of my mother. I have to be born again and I have to die again. The sequence of births and death, idam iha samsare bahudustare, is very, very difficult to cross over that particular samsara. The sequence of births and deaths, again and again, it's compared to ocean. So dustaraha, extremely difficult to cross. And there is no end to this kind of samsara. And with my own limited resources, I know that I will never be able to break free of this cycle. Therefore, sadhaka says, Kripaya pahi murara. So mura stands for the ego. And the only one who can destroy that demon called mura is Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. And therefore he says, pahi. Pahi is, please protect me. Right? I am drowning in this ocean of samsara. Please save me. Apare kripya. By your infinite grace, by your infinite kindness, please shower me with compassion and show me that compassion and please rescue me from this particular samsara. So this surrender, this particular line is surrender. Kripaya pare pahi murare. Please save me. So the surrender to the Lord, the surrender is very important part of spiritual pursuit. Because without that, the ego doesn't go. And only when I recognize that as anatma, my helplessness is there, my inability is there, due to which I can never break that particular cycle, then only I surrender to the Guru or to the teacher or to the Lord. And if you remember chapter 2 and 1 of Bhagavad Gita, until Arjuna surrenders, Krishna does not teach. Very important point. The Lord will not be available to us until we surrender to Him. And when will we surrender? We will never surrender until we realize that this battle is a lost battle for us. And without the help of the Lord, this battle cannot be won. Once you realize that, then you will surrender to the Lord. He will send you a teacher. You will study Vedanta. You will gain understanding of the values of life. You will realize what are the obstacles in your journey. You will find that you're helpless to handle kama, karma, krodha, lobha, matsarya. And therefore you pray to the Lord and seek His help. So this is the whole journey of the spiritual seeker is being talked about over here. Now we look at verse number 22. It's a continuation. So please unmute yourself. We can chant. Rathya charpata virichita kantaha punya punyo vivarjita pantaha yogi yoga niyojita chittaha ramate balonmattavadeva Okay. So virachita. Virachit means something which is manufactured out of, made out of. Kantha. Kantha is a sheet. Okay. So virachita kantha, a sheet which is made out of. Kantaha virachita, a sheet which is made out of, a bed sheet, let us say, which is made out of what? Rathya charpata. Charpata means rags, tattered old cloth. And Rathya means a road. So Rathya charpata is tattered old cloth which have been thrown away by people and which are lying on the roads. And what has happened? This cloth has been picked up by this sadhaka, by this jnani, and kantha. He has made a bed sheet. Or you can make it as he has just made a sheet by joining all these tattered cloths, pieces of cloth, rags which are lying on the road. He has made a sheet. And this cloth covers his body. So what this Shankara is talking about, that person, that yogi, he says, he is not particular about what he wears. First of all, he doesn't have the money. He doesn't even go and ask for clothes. Whatever he finds on the road, he picks up, he stitches it together. And whatever little cloth is there, he covers the body. So the cloth which covers his body, that cloth has been made up of tattered old cloth which has been lying on the streets. What is the idea here by saying this? That this yogi has no possessions. He has no demands. He is comfortable wherever he is. He makes do with whatever is available. Under the tree, wearing the rags, he is comfortable. But he's a jnani, he's a yogi. He would be just as comfortable in a 5-star hotel. So wherever he is, he's comfortable. And moreover, being a jnani, he does not need to work for happiness. Because jnani means what? I know I am Brahman. If I am Brahman, I am Ananta. Ananta Ananda I have got. I've got permanent Atma Ananda. I don't need to work for happiness because I'm perpetually happy. Then do I work at all? Yes. I work for others. So it's called Loka Sangraham. For the benefit of other people, this jnani works. And as I said, he has no possessions and he has no demands. But he does work for others. He does try to make others happy. Therefore, he gives and gives and gives. But in return, he takes only the very minimum required for sustenance of his body. So all this is implied by that one line. Rathya Charpata Virachita Kantha. He gives and gives, but he takes minimum. He gives more to society than he ever takes. And that is called what? In terms of karma, when you give more than you take, what is it? Just sattvika karma, very sattvika karma, right? And then he says, punya, apunya, vivarjita pantaha. So pantaha means a path. He is walking along a path, the pantha, the spiritual path. And this particular spiritual path is vivarjita. It is free of, it is devoid of what? Punya, apunya. It is beyond punyam and papam. So he's showing here that he is not in karma kanda at all. Because karma kanda deals with punyam and papam. Karma kanda reinforces the sense of duality. Because punyam and papam are there where there is a sense of doership. Kartrutvam is there. But jnana yogis, they know they are Brahman. Brahman has no kartrutvam at all. Brahman is a karta. And therefore he goes beyond that. And therefore he is not walking on the path of karma kanda. He is walking on the path of jnana kanda. Therefore he says punya, punyaha, vivarjita panta. That path on which this yogi walks, this jnani walks, it is devoid of papam and punyam. Right? If you remember papam and punyam, any action that has the potential to give you pain, future pain, is called papam. And an action which has the potential to give you future punyam is called punyam. Future happiness is called punyam. In other words, any action performed keeping in order or keeping dharma in mind, being harmonious with dharma is punyam. Any action that is performed in violation of dharma, that is called papa. But all these rules apply in karma kanda, where kartrutvam is very much there, where doership is there, duality is there, Ishvara is there, I am there. And the rules apply in karma kanda. But when the kartrutvam itself, when the doership is gone, how can these rules apply? So these rules apply only to ajnanis. To jnanis, these rules don't apply at all. And so he says, yogi, yoga niyojita chittaha. That mind is focused upon yoga. The yoga here is not Hatha yoga. Yoga is the truth. It is jnana yoga. His mind is chitta niyojitaha yogaha. His mind is focused upon jnana yoga, and therefore he is a yogi. So yogi niyojita chittaha. That person has focused his mind upon jnana yoga. And since he has only jnana yoga in mind, he has only moksha in mind, he doesn't care about the world at all. And he behaves just like a child. So ramate balon mattavad eva. He balaha unmattavada eva. Like a child gone crazy. He behaves like a crazy child. He has no regrets of the past. He has no worries about the future. So he's exactly like a child. A child doesn't bother about the past or the future. He always lives in the present. And so does this jnani. The past is gone. He has left it. He has no concern about it. The future has yet to come. He is not interested. He is not worried. Whatever the future brings from him, whatever the future brings for him, that is fine. And past, whatever has happened, he accepts. Such a person is beyond the pale of society. We cannot judge his actions because he functions from a level to which Ordinary people like us, we do not have access at all. So, idea is that the fact that a person is jnani or not is not easily ascertainable by anybody. Only the jnani knows, only another jnani will know whether he is a jnani. And therefore, whenever you ask somebody, are you a jnani? Remember that question has no meaning. Unless you are a jnani, that person's answer will make no sense at all. Okay, now we look at verse number 23. We will chant. Please unmute yourself. Kastvam koham kuta ayatah.
Kastvamkoham kutaya
Kame janani ko me tatah.
Kame janani bhumita
Iti paribhavaya sarvam asaram.
Iti paribhavaya sarvasaram
Vishvam tyaktva swapna vicharam.
Vishvam tattva
Okay. So, iti paribhavaya. Paribhavana is contemplation, inquiry. So, iti means in this manner. So, he is saying what sort of spiritual inquiry should a person do? Instructions are, Shankara is giving instructions. Iti paribhavaya. You should contemplate, you should inquire in the following manner. What is that manner? Kaha tvam. Kastvam is broken up into kaha tvam. Who are you? Right? And ko aham. Kaha aham. Ko aham. Who am I? And kuta ayataha. From where have I come? Kame janani. Who is my mother? Kame tataha. Who is my father? Kastvam koham kuta ayataha. Kame janani ko me tataha. Who am I? Where have I come from? Who is my mother? Who is my father? All these inquiry you should make. So am I just this body? And if I'm just this body, body is made from annam, from food. So am I just a modification of food? Or am I not the body, but I am the indriyas? Am I the sense organs, the jnana indriyas, the instruments of perception? Or am I the antakarana, which is required for the jnana indriyas to function properly? Or am I somebody who is different from the body and the jnana indriyas and the antakarana? So these are the questions that one should ask for oneself. Shankara says this is how you begin your inquiry. So what happens? I take myself to be the body, mostly. Or if I'm slightly more refined, I take myself to be the mind. Or I say I'm a very emotional person. Or I say I'm a very intelligent person. I'm taking myself to be the emotional being or the intelligent being. And Shankara says, ask yourself, is this what you really are? Iti paribhavaya, may you inquire. Is this my identity? Or is there something more which I don't know? I am taking myself as the finite body with all these entities. I take my mother as another body. I take my father as another body. I take all other people as nothing more than the body or the mind or the personality. And Shankara says, you should understand, idam vishvam sarvam asaram. Asaram means that which has no substance. Sarvam asaram vishvam. This entire universe has no substance at all. It is not a real substance at all. It is mithya. Iti paribhavaya. You should please understand this. And therefore, swapna vicharam. Think of all this as your dream, as your imagination, as your incorrect thinking. And what should you do? Tyaktva. Give it all up. Remember that all relationships take into account only the physical body. Any relationship which we have, wife, husband, mother, father, grandparents, children, all relationships belong to whom? Are between bodies and bodies. And that is not what you are. So therefore, this is asaram. You have not taken the real essence into account. What is your saram? What is your essence? You are Brahman, you are Atma. You are not taking that into account at all. So what you are doing is, what is a mithya vastu, an unreal object? You are taking it as satyam, the real object. As long as you take mithya for satyam, there is no way that you can be released from it. As long as you think that the rope is a snake, the fear will never go away. And therefore, iti paribhavaya, may you inquire. Inquire what? Expose yourself to the teaching of the scriptures. Why does Shankara insist on inquiry? There is a simple rule. Whenever the real nature of something is not known to us, what happens? Usually we developed incorrect ideas about the nature of that thing, right? Whenever the real nature of something is unknown to you, it is common to develop an incorrect idea about the nature of that thing. So non-apprehension leads to misapprehension. Not understanding the rope as a rope, non-apprehension of the rope. What is the misapprehension? I think of that rope as a snake. If this stopped here, if the mistake was all that was there was no problem, right? Thinking of the rope as the snake, by itself, there is no issue. What is the problem? The problem is that the misapprehension leads to certain outcomes. Fear, wanting to run away. Although that the products of that ajnanam. Ajnanam by itself, remember, ignorance by itself is not a problem at all. It is ignorance-related products that are the problem. Like fear is a problem in this particular case. Right? If you didn't have fear, then whether you thought of the rope as a snake, how does it make a difference? You are not being affected in any way. But the fact that you think of the rope as a snake, that error leads to some problems in your mind. Fear in this case. That is why we say non-apprehension leads to misapprehension. And non-apprehension is going to be there as long as you have not studied the scriptures. When you don't know what is the real nature of Brahman, you will get all sorts of ideas about Brahman. And many of those ideas will leave you with a lot of problems in your thinking processes. And therefore he says, iti paribhavaya, you must inquire properly into the Shastram with the help of a teacher. So we will look at one more verse and then we will stop for the day. So please unmute yourself and you can chant. Tvai mai chantraika Vishnu Tvai mai chanyatraiko Vishnu Yartham gupyasi maya sahishnu Bhavasam chittaha sarvatratvam Bhavasam chitta sarvatratvam Vanchasya chiradi vishnutvam Vanchasya chirabhyadi vishnutvam. Okay. So, vyartham kupyasi maya sahishnuhu. So, maya sahishnuhu is a combination of two words. Mai asahishnuhu. So, he says, Mai asahishnuhu, you are not being tolerant. Asahishnuhu means intolerance. Mai is me. So, Mai asahishnuhu, you are being intolerant with me. And vyartham kupyasi, you are unnecessarily getting angry, unnecessarily getting irritated. Who is talking here? The teacher is talking to the student. He has seen that the student is getting irritated. Because the teacher seems to be repeating the same thing again and again, right? For those of you who have been for some time with the Vedanta classes, you will realize that the same idea is repeated again and again and again in very many different ways. And therefore, the student is apparently getting irritated because he's wondering if he's wasting his time. And every day, the teacher seems to be repeating the same thing. So, teacher here is pacifying him. He says, "You are being intolerant, my friend, or student, or shishya. Mai asahishnaho. You are being intolerant with me. And vyartham kupyasi. You are getting unnecessarily angry with me also." He's pacifying him. Bhava samchittaha. Samachittaha means calm mind. Bhava, be. Bhava samachittaha. Be of calm mind, because it takes patience to understand the Shastra. So modern day, as we all know, we have concept of instant gratification. Everything is required instantly, even Atma Jnanam. So I'm reminded of one student about 2-3 years ago. He spoke to me and said that I forget his nationality, probably a British student or American student, somebody. So he said he's very interested in learning about Indian scriptures. And, he asked me whether he could join my classes. So I said, of course you can. I mean, I'm always open to anybody joining the classes. Then he said, how long will it take me to understand the scriptures? So I told him, generally when you do Tattva Bodha and then you do Bhagavad Gita and then you do Upanishad and everything, it's a very long-term program. Because by the time you finish everything, it's a very cool 10 years, once a week classes. So he said, no, I can't spend that much time. Do you know of any place where I can do it faster? So I said, yes, you can go to this Arsha Vidyalaya and Chinmaya Ashram, where there are courses varying from 2.5 years to 3.5 years. So he said, no, I cannot spend so much time. Can you, I need to do it maximum 1 month I can spare. So that's why instant gratification. Everything, even Atma Jnanam, he wants in 1 month. Now, had it been, for example, studying astronomy or studying nuclear physics, he would have been willing to spend 5 or 6 years doing his PhD, right? But Atma Jnanam, no, I want it in 1 month. So this is what this student also possibly is thinking, that is taking too much time. And therefore he's angry with the teacher. The teacher says, it's not easy to understand. And therefore he says, you have to understand that Ekaha Vishnuhu Tvai Mai. That there's only one Vishnu. That Vishnu is present in you and me. So is Chanya Traiko Vishnu has to be broken up into Cha Anyatra Ekaha. Right? So he's saying that Vishnu is present in every other place also. Only one Vishnu is there. The same Vishnu is present. And that is the definition of Vishnu actually. Veshti iti Vishnu. That which pervades everything, that is Vishnu. It is the only all-pervading reality. And because it's an all-pervading reality, everything is present inside Vishnu. Right? And that's why you call it Narayana. Narayana means what? Nara Ayanam. The residence of all Naras, of all Jivas. All Jivas, they reside in Narayana. So Nara, that is Nara plus Ayanam, the residence of all Jivas. That is why it's called Narayana. Lord Vishnu is called Narayana. Sthiti Karanam, right? Vishnu is Sthiti Karanam. Maintenance of the universe is his job. And then he says, Tvam. So you have to break this up very carefully. Yadi Tvam Vanchasi Achirat Vishnutvam. So that Vanchasya Chirad Yadi. You have to break it up and rearrange the words. Yadi comes first. So the first word is Yadi. And then Tvam. So Yadi Tvam. Vanchasi Achirat Vishnutvam. So Achirat means without delay. Vishnutvam means the status of being Vishnu, which is Brahman. Yadi Tvam Vanchasi. Vanchasi. Vanchasi means desires. So he says, if you desire the status of Vishnu without any delay, Yadi Tvam Achirad Vanchasi Vishnutvam. If you want to become Brahman without any delay, you want to become whole or complete, you want to become free or limitless, then you cannot afford to be impatient. So don't despair, don't get disappointed, don't lose your patience. Because why? There is nothing new that you have to accomplish. It is not that you have to become Brahman. Why? You already are Brahman. And the only thing required is your mind has to be calm to understand this. And therefore sarvatra bhava samchittaha. Be of calm mind. And he had sarvatra. Sarvatra means in every situation, in every place, your mind should never be disturbed. And Krishna called this samatvam in Bhagavad Gita. We call it low FIR. There is a low frequency of disturbance, low intensity of disturbance, and a very quick recovery time. So sarvatra bhava samchittaha, samachittaha. Your mind has to be calm, your mind has to be quiet. You have to have a non-judgmental mind, and you don't conclude that this is wrong and that is right. You don't see something as being success and something as failure, because you will understand what? That only names and forms are different. External appearances may be different, but recognize the essence of everything to be the same. There are many living creatures, many human beings, many birds, many plants, many insects. But hidden behind all this diversity is that one principle, Vishnu, that all-pervading principle, that all-pervading Atma, that all-pervading Brahman. That alone manifests in different costumes, different names, different forms. That Vishnu alone gives life. And you have to be samatva. You have to have, mind has to be quiet. And that is why you find Lord Shiva is depicted in the cremation ground. Right? He has a garland of skulls. He's surrounded by ghosts and goblins. And yet, what is he doing? His mind is quiet in meditation. So everything is considered, all these things, skulls and ghosts and goblins, all are considered impure and inauspicious, right? But Shiva means what? Auspiciousness alone. Therefore, learn to see all the problems of this world, all the evil, all the violence. Look through them. Know that they are all there in Vivaharika only, but learn to look through them. Learn to look to see the substratum, that Adhishthanam, which is Lord Shiva only. Auspiciousness alone, the Brahman alone. Once you look beyond the immediate problems and learn to see Brahman everywhere, then your mind will cease to be disturbed. So that is a teaching from this work. With this, we'll stop here. And most probably next session will be the last for Bhaja Govinda. We'll try to finish it off that time. Any questions?
Can I speak? I'm outside though. You'll get a lot of disturbance from my side.
Yes, Swati, bolo.
And I just don't want to miss the class, and that's why I just put the headphones and mark it.
Okay.
But sir, I have to share this. The first verse we shared in this session, the drop of Ganga Jal.
Yes.
So I cannot tell you how much it has touched my life in that sense. And hello, so can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, please go ahead. Swati, you can talk, no problem, we can hear you. Okay, you lost her, I think. All right, Lataji, boliye.
So could you hear me? Any
just a question.
what?
Yeah,
Okay,
Swati, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll talk later.
All right, Lata, you can go ahead, please.
Okay, so Raviji, I just had one question. We were talking about a person who understands Brahman, and he believes in just giving, and no sense of doership. But in the end, this person also, even though he is just giving, he will also have some aspect of some karma, right, along with him.
No, he won't. His body will keep on giving because that is part of the karma. Now, the moment you say jnani, you cannot say this person anymore. That's the catch. That is the whole purpose of repeated listening. To be able to break free of the conditioning of saying this person when you talk about Brahman or a jnani.
So
Repeatedly
if
when you
he is
listen,
still,
you will find that this usage which we do, this person, that usage will disappear when you talk about cat afterwards.
okay, okay.
All right. So with this, we'll close for the day, and hope to see you next week. It is the last session. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your
Om Tat
patience.
Sat
Thank
Acharya.
you.
Thank